So the question is, how do you actually know that you're doing the right thing, and what is the, are you actually making a good decision or not? And frankly, you never know. And I think that's where the vast majority of decision-making literature actually makes a really big mistake. And the sort of frameworks of creating a sort of choice set and picking from this choice set and coming up with the best alternatives and then getting outcomes and all of those kind of things, sort of modeling behavior, which is a nice modeling exercise. It actually does not depict reality that much because we never really know if we're doing the right thing. We never really know if we should stop doing something, continue doing something. There really just is not a good answer with that. You might think that, yeah, it's like super easy to know this stuff, but ultimately you don't because if there's any sort of lag, and by the time you actually do something and you get the rewards from that or the punishments from that, you virtually just don't understand what's going on. And that is the most of reality, is that there's lags between when you actually do something and when the reality, when something actually happens. There's all sorts of research on this, indicating that we're just really poor at understanding our environment. And you know, that's where I want to sort of say is, wait a minute. You might think that you understand the world. You don't. We never really understand the world. You might think that what you're doing is stupid or silly. Hey, it actually might be the right thing at the time. You have to go by gut feeling or just looking around and thinking about, is this actually a qualitatively good thing? Not necessarily like, is this the right thing? Is this going to pan out in the right way? But do I actually like this thing? Is this adding value to my life? And, with any of these sort of basic questions, I mean, I think you should really continue to do those things. I question myself all the time, and there's lots of days where things just don't add value and it doesn't feel good and all those kind of things. And then I think, well, what's the alternative in this particular scenario? And often there isn't one, right? You don't know what is the right thing and wrong thing. So then I just get up and do this all over again. Um, I've become increasingly aware that we just kind of live our life. We don't necessarily make decisions how it's sort of depicted or we think about that. We just live our life. We get up and we do these things. Sometimes we make an active decision. Most of the times we never do. We just do our thing. We get up. I'm very quote unquote on the rational side where I think about things and think about the decisions I make. But myself, I don't make a lot of those decisions. I just get up and I do it, and I do just live my life, and that's it. And so, coming back to the idea of, how do you know what is the right thing? You never know. How do you know if it's wrong? You never know. And what you have to do is just simply get up and do it. So you might actually, you might think what is the right thing for you is to become an engineer and then you become a computer programmer. But the ultimately best right thing for you might have become, a rapper or, a singer of some sort where you make millions and millions and millions of dollars. And you would never have known that until you actually did that particular thing. And so you just got to go by, um, gut feel, right? Like you have to just figure it out of like, hey, I'm just going to do this. You're never going to know what is the right answer, what you should do. And so you just have to go with like, hey, this feels good for me. And I just have to do this thing right now, even if it seems silly and strange and goofy. I just have to do this. And I think if you get into that sort of story in your head, I think it's a much more productive story than thinking about, is this actually worthwhile for me? I just encourage you to, you know, listen to how you feel about things, think about sort of where you might be actually going in a decade, a few decades from now, and really sort of pay attention to those particular things rather than, you know, whether you're actually making the best choice at the moment, because you're never really going to know what is the best choice, sort of setting yourself up in the future. And I think that, like, there are really good choices, right? And we clearly know that, but you only know those things until after the fact. Um, and that there is some that have definitely a lot more certainty, right? Like, um, it's definitely a much more lucrative career with more certainty. You know that for sure, to go and become an engineer, right? Like, but if you were that one person, but we don't know if you were that one person, right? You could be, the next big rock star, and you just never know what that is. And often, I mean, to become the big rock star, it just requires an unbelievable amount of work and dedication. But that's going to require the same thing to become, a computer programmer or whatever lucrative career that you're thinking about. And I have a belief um, that if you dedicated yourself to the same degree as somebody in an adjacent field, right, like a Wall Street trader, right, you viewed art as if you were a Wall Street trader, and you viewed it not as like this sort of art endeavor, but like as a profitable business. I have a belief that you'll eventually get there. It might just take some time and effort, but you'll eventually actually get there. Whether that belief is wrong, I don't know. But I don't think that there's a lot of people that actually apply what they do in a very strategic way. And I think that you can do that. And if you do that, that's the one advantage of doing the sort of more hard sciences and maths and things like that. Things are very systematic. And the other advantage is the rest of the world views you differently. Um, but that's where you can just grind it out at that point. So I don't know what is the right answer. If it was me, I'd probably choose the hard sciences and in a sort of more sure bet. But not everybody's like me. And if you do, just take it very seriously. If you're going into something else, take it very seriously. Just keep going at her. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye.